Hi guys, so this is a second recording. I was quite aware of there's quite a lot of wind noise on the video that's going to follow this video actually, which is talking about utilizing exercise and cardio to take yourself out of your usual programs, paradigms, out of the usual subconscious programming that we tend to be daily stuck in, because we tend to live 90 to 95% of the time from our subconscious minds. We have roughly 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. These thoughts paired with emotions create a reality. Many of you have started learning the law of attraction, the teachings of Abraham, the Master Key System by Charles F. Haynor, written in 1915, is a great book as well. There's many books on the law of attraction now, and if you look into the 7 Hermetic principles, everything is vibration, everything has its opposites. And the law is our reality is mental. So when you combine all these things and you start to realize the patterns of how your reality is shaped using your mind and your feelings, that is what we're basically breaking down. Everything we've learned from mainly the ages of 1 to 7, when we're in a theta brainwave. This is when our brains are like a sponge and we absorb quite a lot. It is my belief that everything we need is accessible to us. It's within, but it's also in this quantum field that surrounds us, this ocean of motion, this sea of energy that we live in. Ultimately, take a look at the picture of the flower of life. The flower of life is, if we are a circle, the person next to us is a circle. When 2 circles come together, it creates a vesica Pisces in the middle. This vesica Pisces is a shared information between each other. And obviously, when I'm next to this tree, there's a shared information here. Then there's the energy of the grass here, and the energy of everything is energy. So it's just a big ocean of motion of energy. And when you can tune into this, you can get the answers to what you want very quickly. This is how synchronicities start coming around really quickly. You start thinking, oh, I want to see Jane. I haven't seen Jane for ages. Jane pops up. You think, oh, I haven't. For instance, I haven't listened to this song for probably 15 years, a song called Sexy Boy by Air. It popped up into my awareness the other day, and then all of a sudden I'm walking in shops in Scotland and it's playing, and I haven't heard this song for 15 years. It's because now that's put into my subconscious. This has gone into my subconscious, is now projected outwards from my solar plexus, and it's drawn into me. So when that song's playing, it's generally I'm gonna walk into situations where that song's playing. Obviously I'm a sexy boy as well, so what can I say? But all seriousness, so what we want to be doing is breaking down the old paradigms and programs that were mainly instilled during the ages of 1 to 7. If you've read any books by various shamans, say Don Miguel Ruiz or Jose Luis Stevens, or many of the other more public shamans out there, then you'll know that we need to unlearn everything we've learned in order to find out who and what we are, because we're not this physical body. We are the consciousness or the awareness behind it. So with children, when I'm working with children sort of under 10 or below, it's important to let them know that when they're feeling emotions of sadness or anything upsetting or slightly fearful, it doesn't particularly have to be them. It's something that might just be passing through them, and it is just passing through them. And once you let it pass like a cloud in the sky, or like a car going down the motorway, and you don't have any attachment to it, because the second we put attachment to something, when you're watching something negative, or if someone engages you in a argumentative conversation, the second you react to it, react in 2 words is react. So the second you react to it, you have to react that situation, and it'll come to you again and again and again. So someone will engage you in a negative conversation, and if you keep reacting to it, you'll keep having to react that situation until you learn not to engage in it. Because when you engage in something, it's like you've cast out a fishing rod, you've hooked onto that, and there's an energetic cord to you until you learn that lesson. And once you learn that lesson, you cut those energetic cords, boom, that lesson's learned. You don't get any of that hassle come to you anymore. It's gone. Lesson learned, done, mastered that. Thank you. Cameo in your film later. Ta-ta. Thanks. Once you thank it and you're grateful for that lesson, yeah, you're going to have more lessons come along probably, but you're going to keep evolving. And the more you keep evolving, the things get easier, because you vibrate at a higher level or you shine at a brighter light. This is technically what enlightenment and ascension is. It's vibrating at a higher level every single day. Neville Goddard teaches that you can't change the past, but when you get into bed, if you visualize and go over your day and you start to visualize any situations that haven't gone in a way that you'd like them to have gone. So say you had an argument with your mum and you wish you never had that argument, you visualize a different scenario in that situation. That's not going to change the past, but the past doesn't exist. What it does is it cuts off any energetic cords to that negativity. So the second you go to bed and you visualize and you change and you put the emotion in that didn't happen, that the emotion that it went a lot better and it actually went in a really positive way, what you've done is you severed that energetic cord that was no good. And when you go to sleep, when your conscious mind goes to sleep, your subconscious now puts into play a higher vibration for the next day. So it's like you've cut that energetic cord, and when you go into the next day, and if this sounds a little bit strange to you, look up something called Ho'oponopono, and I'll put a little link to that up here. It's an ancient shaman process, energetic healing, where if you've had an argument with someone, you say 4 words. You say, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, and there's another one, it'll come to me in a minute, but there's 4 words you say, or 4 lines that you say. And once you've said this, I've used this many times with ex-girlfriends, bosses. What it does is, say you've had an argument with your boss about something, and you go home and you know the second you walk into work the next day there's going to be that cold, that sort of negative energy around. You sit down and you go into your visualization. Now, when I teach visualization and meditation, I say this is like stepping into the white room that Neo steps into in the Matrix. When he starts to visualize the guns, he visualizes the karate scenario, the jiu-jitsu scenario. Meditation and visualization is like this. It's like going into your mind where everything is created first, shutting off the 5 senses. So you shut off your touch, taste, sound, smell and sight, and you start to visualize what you want. And in essence, what this is doing is this is creating in the non-physical realm. Once you start to create it in the non-physical realm, that's the seed, because that's the smallest vibration there is. You start to water that vibration, that seed, with introducing the 5 senses into the visualization. So now when we're in the visualization, say you're trying to repair the situation with your boss, you say, please forgive me, and that's watering it. I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. That's watering it, watering it, watering it. Then you might give him a hug, which is bringing the sense of touch and maybe smell and sound into it. You're speaking it to him. So what you've done is you've created that scenario in the non-physical, and now you've brought some of your 5 senses, which are your physical senses, and you brought them into the non-physical realm. This is what they say in the law of attraction when they say imagine that it has already happened. So if you want a car, you go and test drive it, you feel it, you smell it, and you imagine you've already got it because you've created it in the non-physical, and now you're bringing it through. It's like that's a dimension. The non-physical is a dimensional realm, and now this is a physical realm, but they're both together, and the veil between the two is getting very fine. So me manifesting things at the moment, it's very, very quickly happening. When I want to go somewhere, when I want to do something, when I want to have something, when I want a certain situation to come, I picture it, I visualize it, I create it in the non-physical realm, I create in the non-physical realm till it's perfect, and I start placing my 5 senses into that. So I start bringing it into, and what that does is that brings that vibration through into the physical, and it's like, again, throwing a fishing hook onto something and winding it in. So the more you bring those 5 physical senses, and even your 9 clear senses, I will be mentioning the 9 clear senses quite often throughout these videos, but I will not be talking to you about what they are, because if you're new to this, I could go into what the 9 clear senses are, and it might be too deep for you, and you might just go, oh fuck that, that sounds really complicated, and I can't be bothered with this anymore because it's way beyond what I'm thinking. It might not. You might be at a level of vibration where you go, oh yeah, that makes real sense. But it's always best for me to plant a seed and to say to you, there's 9 clear senses, now go and look them up. Whether you look them up on Google, whether you go to a bookshop or Waterstones, anywhere, whether you go and talk to a psychic friend or an energy healer somewhere else. Or if you'd like to, you can message me, and I can go through it with you on a one-to-one basis. I do one-to-one mentoring. I haven't got anything available at the moment, but this is something that you could look into in the future. So the 9 clear senses, some people say it's 8, some people say it's 9. I go with 9. I believe there's probably even more than that we haven't accessed yet. There is a thought pattern that we have only ever used around 20% of our DNA. And that the rest of it is junk DNA. As you know, it's my belief that this was dormant DNA and it was asleep, and that due to the Schumann resonance and the vibration of the planet, now we've stepped out of a 26,000 or 26,500 year dark age, some people call it. I prefer to call it an iron age. that the level of the vibration of the planet is raising at such a rate. The Schumann resonance was usually 7.83, and it has peaked recently at over 150, and just yesterday afternoon it was over 70. So this is forcing a lot of people's vibrations physically, mentally, emotionally, to raise. So this is why a lot of people are stopping to eat meat. You're finding your diet's changing. You're finding that certain films, certain friends are falling at the wayside because your level of vibration is changing at such a rapid rate right now that certain things are just not interesting. This is why you're starting to see governments and leaders possibly for what they really are. You'll start to, because you're stopping to use your thinking patterns, and you'll stop using the mind so much, and you're using your heart center a lot more. You're feeling into things. You cannot have wool pulled over your eyes as easily. The veils have come down, and now we can see things for what they really are. So, and see things and feel things, more importantly, for what they really are. So these are going to be some quite long videos to start with, because this is more about building you up mentally for the process. Some of you are going to be going 7 days without food or water with myself. Many of you that are doing that this time around have already done it with me. Most of you are going to be on the beginners one, which is food the first day, fruit and veg, juices the second day with water, 3 days dry, hard dry, no food or water, and then introducing liquids and solid foods and nuts. Generally stuff that's come out of the earth. I will be doing a video on what juices I recommend, because I don't like stabilizers or acidity regulators. A lot of these companies like Pret a Manger, they give you a fruit juice, but they stick a load of acidity regulators in it. Now, you want your fruit juices and your water to be of a high pH. Between 8 to 10 is ideal. Anything over 7 is better. Anything below 7 is acidic. So if you're looking at a lot of fruit juices that are under 7 pH, then you know that it's not natural, that they've got acidity regulators in it and it's actually acidic. This is the same with water. There's a lot of water companies. There's a lot of fashion water companies like Voss. They charge you 4 or 5 quid for a fucking bottle of water, and not only does it contain fluoride, one of the worst substances you can put in your body, but it's also around 5 pH, which is acidic. It's actually at 1 pH less acidic than Coca-Cola, and we've all seen what Coca-Cola does to a penny coin. So just become more aware. All water is not created equal. The waters we should put in our body are, in my belief, again, this is my belief, and you can take what resonates and cast the rest away, is that waters should be live. So they should be from rivers, they should be from streams, they should be from fountains. Or if you can't have access to these, get them from organic fruits, watermelons, cucumbers, cantaloupe melons, all of these fruits, the water within them, they're 90% water. All of the water within these fruits is live water. The structure of the water is a lot different from still water. A lot of the water bottles you'll read, you've been misled, in my opinion, again, is they say keep out of direct sunlight and store it in a cool, dry place. I take all of my bottles of water, they're very high pH, I take all of the labels off them, I put my affirmations, my intentions and my invocations underneath them, and I place them in direct sunlight, because sunlight is one of the most powerful energies and teachers with light language that you can possibly interact with on a daily basis. It's what it's here for. The moon and you can learn more from the moon and the sun than you can 3 years sitting in a school or a college or a university. This is common knowledge now. This is something that has been hidden behind various veils due to the level of vibration. I'm going to leave this video here, but in the next video that follows on from this, there might be a repeat of what I've just said in certain ways. But I would like you to, one thing I missed out in the next video is that we're going to be focusing a lot on meditation and visualization. Meditation is taking your attention away from this. So a lot of shamans will put it as, if you've got a bucket and you've got loads of holes in a bucket and you try to pour water in it, the water just pisses out everywhere. Now this water symbolizes your attention. This is your focus, this is your energy. When you pour it into a bucket and it pisses out everywhere, you're not going to create anything because it's going on too many things. But when we fill these holes in this bucket and we pour our focus and attention in it, we have so much built up energy. When we use that energy to build something, it's like bang, that comes into our reality. A different perspective to look at, if that one is slightly more difficult to understand, is that if I use this sunlight and I have a piece of paper just here and I want to set fire to this piece of paper, and I use a magnifying glass and I'm doing that with a magnet, that sunlight's going to be pissing out all over the place and I'm not going to set fire to anything. If I use that sunlight and I focus that through that magnifying glass onto that piece of paper, and the sunlight is your focus, your energy, your attention. Tony Robbins will say, where your attention goes, energy flows. This is very true. So where we're focusing that sunlight, which is your attention, your energy, now I'm now going to be able to set fire to that piece of paper instantly, because we're keeping it on one thing. Now, as I've mentioned, we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day paired with an emotion. This creates your reality. But if your attention's doing this with TV, media, and pretty much everything outside of you is used as a distraction. TV companies know this, radio companies know this, advertising companies. I've worked with many people in advertising industries and various other things, and I know a lot of the tricks they use to keep your attention in certain places so that then you focus on it. Ultimately, your energy is being used then. You've all heard the term energy vampires. Energy vampires will keep your attention and your energy onto something in order for that to be built or for you to create that. This is how certain big companies, I'm not going to go into specific ones, but food companies and things, their advertising will incorporate certain subliminal sexual messages, because sex is a very powerful emotion. Obviously sex is creation, so it is a very powerful creative tool. So is unconditional love, so is gratitude. So these are the things we want to be focusing on, but we want to be focusing, utilizing them on what we choose to create, what you choose to create, what I choose to create. What you don't want to be doing is letting that go willy-nilly about with what the media are trying to distract you with, in order to get governments to pay for pharmaceutical companies or rubbish that you don't need, because ultimately you are the biggest healer yourself. You can heal yourself once you know how. There are people that can teach you how to heal yourself. There are not people that can heal you. Ultimately, we learn how to heal ourselves, and then we teach each other how we have learned to heal ourselves, and then people can take from that what they resonate with, and that will heal them, because certain people will need different things to heal. But when you meet someone who's healed themselves on a very high level, you can then take from them what resonates with you and incorporate and utilize that within your lifestyle, and you'll find that this works amazingly well. And that's what we're all here for. That's why we are the flower of life. That's why we're all together. That's why we're all going from a duality-based reality to a unity-based reality. So I'm going to be talking about using your selfie stick or your phone and holding it out and running backwards, because running backwards is a great way to get you into your into the present moment, into your conscious mind, because it's not something you do every day. It's also great for you guys out there who are wanting to lose weight this week, because running backwards incorporates more of your glutes and your hamstrings, which are the two largest muscles you have. So if you go onto a cross trainer or a running machine and you run backwards with a heart monitor on, you'll probably find you burn between 10 to 20, probably around 16 to 18% myself, more calories running backwards than you would running forwards. So it's a great thing. Now I get you to use the selfie stick or the phone because some of the shaman training I have done, and some of the shaman training I'll be taking you through this week, is projecting your consciousness into various places. So when you go into a room, I like to scan the room. If I'm in a restaurant, I like to then sit down, and when I sit down, I know where everything is in the room, and then I'll throw my consciousness into the corner of the room, and I'll look back at myself, and I will look at myself in the room with everyone around me and give myself a little wave. Now this sounds very strange, but this is because, like doing bicep in a gym, working that muscle, we have spiritual muscles as well, but if you haven't flexed these spiritual muscles for a while, it feels a little bit strange. I can send you a link that shows that just by sitting here right now, you might not be able to see it, but I am clenching my biceps energetically using my energy body or my spiritual body. So those of you who know about astral projection or out-of-body experiences will know that we can take our energy body, our spirit, our soul, we can come out of this physical body and we can utilize it for various things, because we are not only this physical body, it is a part of us. It's a cog in a wheel in the a cog in the whole machine. But when we learn to utilize it properly and we start flexing these spiritual muscles, they become much easier to use. So I'm getting you to use your phone to look into and run backwards, because ultimately we're going to get rid of the phone at some point, and you'll just be able to run backwards. You'll be able to look, see what's there, know what's there, you'll be able to visualize it, and you'll be able to run backwards. I do this on a regular basis through where I live, and even here in Scotland today I've done it several times. So once you've done something a certain amount of times and you've seen it, we have that power and we can visualize it, we can almost use our energetic body to run backwards. And again, this is taking your attention, your focus from 60 to 80,000 things and narrowing it down. So the way I teach meditation is to take these thoughts that we're having and to gradually take them down, because if you're like myself, going from that many thoughts down to just thinking about the breath, it's very daunting and it's very difficult. So maybe even grabbing 3 oranges or 3 apples and doing a little bit of juggling. Juggling is a great way to get into meditation, because it's taking your focus off of everything and it's bringing it into one thing. Excuse me. And that's what meditation's about. It's about taking your focus, attention and energy away from everything and bringing it within, and then using that energy once it's built up within you, that kundalini energy. Once that's built up within you, you can then use that to create your outside world, because everything starts within and is projected outwards. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, there might be a few bits repeated in the next one, but you're here with me for a week, and this is the first fully intense 2 or 3 videos a day course that I've done. This will be the fine-tuning for the final program that will be utilized going out for various mentees and people that I'm guiding. So the reason I'm doing this all for free is because I'd like your feedback and some of your suggestions on how to improve it. I already have seen quite a few, but hearing yours would be great, and I really appreciate you guys doing this with me, and I look forward to guiding you through the rest of this week. Lots of love. Namaste.